Hello children, we'll continue with our chapter. Part 1 is already been done. Now we'll start from page 68. Right to constitutional remedies. Now, no matter how many laws are framed or how many provisions are made for the fundamental rights, there are so many laws framed and there are provisions which is made for the fundamental rights, but if these are not implemented well, then there remains no meaning of such freedom or right. If it is not being used properly, it is not being implemented, then it's of no use. Therefore, there is a provision which is made in the constitution for the implementation of these rights. Under it, a right in the Supreme Court can be made for the violation of the fundamental right. If it is not being implemented, then there is a right in the Supreme Court which is made for the violation of the fundamental right. This right has been accepted as a right to constitutional remedies, and this is what is called as constitutional remedies. The Supreme Court is playing a very important role in protecting these fundamental rights. And for this, if the court finds it necessary, then it can give the orders, instructions or decree. That means the court play a very important role in protecting this fundamental right. The apex court is vested with the powers given to the constitution. The court is having that power which is being given by the constitution, and nobody can oppose it. If any person puts this complaint against any state for the violation of any fundamental right, then the Supreme Court is exercising its right. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar has considered this right, and this right is called as soul of the constitution. Why? Because this is your 3.2 answer. The parliament can hand over the powers of giving such an order to any of the court if the state legislative assembly frames any laws which violates the fundamental rights or not in congruence of it, then the Supreme Court can stop the state. Suppose the state is giving any order. If the state assembly is framing any law and which is violating the fundamental rights, then the Supreme Court can stop the state by doing this. And thus, this right provides an opportunity to any of the citizen who approaches the court for the violation of the fundamental rights. The Constitution provides the fundamental rights to the Indian citizens. These rights are given against the government, central and state. The fundamental rights are applicable to all the citizens at all the time, but can be suspended during the time of emergency. When there is an emergency in the state, then it will be suspended, otherwise all the citizens are getting this right. And any state cannot form any laws which take away the fundamental rights of the citizens. Now, as we have talked about all the rights, the other part of it, it is said always the two sides of the coin. One side, if you are talking about the rights, the other side we have also our duties as a citizen of India. People are aware of their rights and duties since ancient times. Just as the citizens are given various fundamental rights, we have fundamental duties also, which is incorporated by the Constitutional Amendment in 1976. This duty is what you should have: love for the nation, national integrity, high ideals, which has to be said that we have value awareness amongst its citizens. This helps to develop the nation. So every citizen is contributing towards the protection of the nation's unity, integrity, sovereignty. And because of this, if this will be maintained, then there will be peace, security, communal harmony. The fundamental duties are there. See, what is the duty? You have to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideal and institutions. Our national flag, national anthem. We should cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. We have to protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity. Whenever it's required, we should defend the country and render national service whenever we are called upon. To promote harmony, brotherhood amongst the people, without any discrimination of religion, language, region, section, and we should always have respect to the dignity of women. We should preserve and value the rich heritage of our country's culture. To protect and improve natural environment, what is that? Forest, lake, rivers and wildlife, and to have compassion for our living creatures. To develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. To safeguard public property and abjure violences, avoid it, the violence. So strive towards excellence in all the spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rise to the higher level. We want that all our spheres should be we should move towards the excellence in all the spheres of individual so that we should reach a great height and achieve something. Who is the parent or guardian to provide opportunities for education to their child, as the case may be between the age of 6 and 14, which right we have got, in which we have seen that the children are sent, that is right to freedom. 6th January is celebrated as Fundamental Duties Day in India. 6th January. 6th January is celebrated as a Fundamental Duties in India. Of all these duties, some duties are backed by the law. The person who is violating can be sentenced. A teacher should make efforts so that the students follow the duties and they become aware and consciousness. It is our duty and responsibility as a citizen to see that various social events and the customs which are prevailing in our society, which we have already discussed, like untouchability, drudgery, child labor, women exploitation, dowry, female, this has to be removed. Ill custom, superstitious, vagera vagera. These duties are directive in conveying us that what as a sensible and aware citizen must do. We should be aware of these things, what is happening around us. If citizen propagates the importance and utilization of fundamental duties, then future citizens develop the feeling of national responsibility, international brotherhood, just an exploitation of free society. Now we will discuss about the directive principles of state policy. Now what is this, the state policy? This is incorporated in the chapter 4 of the Constitution. Here, what is the objective or directive principles of state policy is to guide present and future, center and the state government in the policy making in various policy related fields. The principles are directive. The state is not bound to fulfill them, but it's a moral responsibility of the state to keep these principles in the center for framing any policy. See, the state is not bound to fulfill all the policies, but it is a moral responsibility of the state to keep these principles in the center for framing any policy. What is the main objective of the principle is to see that any political, social and economic justice should be available to all. That is, such a social structure should be established. For the fulfillment of the objectives and the aims of the state, the principles serve as a guideline. The principles are serving as a guidelines. There is no such provision in the Constitution to implement these principles of law. These fundamental principles do not provide any legal support or legal right. Then also the framing and administration the laws of the state. These are fundamentals. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, what he said, to rule the regime, these principles are the foundations. It means an attempt to establish political democracy in our Constitution. So political democracy is incomplete without social and economical democracy. Now this Indian Constitution is including these directive principles of state policy in 4 sections of the amendment. How many sections? 4. The kind of country that we want to create, the kind of society we want to construct, that vision is reflected in these directive policies. So these policies which we have talking about, the principles are directive. The state is not bound to fulfill them, but it's a moral responsibility of the state to keep these principles in the center for framing any policy. So the kind of the country that we want to create is reflected in these directive policies. The directive principles are actually directions given by the Constitution to the Union and the state government to adopt such policies that this would help to establish an unbiased society in our country. No partiality, that means it should be unbiased. The primary aim of this principle is to establish a social system which is based on social, economical, political justice. These principles are about implementation of the objectives and ideals presented in the preamble. These principles are not included in the Constitution of India. These principles do not serve legal rights or legal backing or legal utilization. For proper administration of the state, these principles are channelized. So we will be discussing, because these principles incorporate such rights which is required for the overall development of the mankind. Now, what are these? We will be going through it. The principles which are related to economic policy. Here we will be talking about equal distribution of wealth and resources among all the people of the India. That means all the people of any class will be having an equal distribution of wealth and resources. Assets and production of resources should be distributed to certain groups or sections. This should be administered by the state. Pay for both men and women equal. Provision should be made for the health of the workers, or the working place or the laborers where they are working should be created. Financial constraint, the men and women and young children working at unhygienic place or where health matters are retorted should not be allowed to happen. State should promote cooperation in administration of industrial units by laborers. Children should be protected. Youth exploitation should be avoided. There should be moral and material abundant and to give a healthy and dignified environment. Relief and leave at the time of delivery should be given to the women. The insurance should be there. Bonus, maternity leave, gratuity. These are the legal rights which is included in this policy. To organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines, and to prohibit the slaughters of cows and other useful milk producing cattle. A draft should be drawn for the livestock breed like donkeys, bullocks, cows for halting the slaughter. Equal legal rights to all. State should organize free legal services to desired citizens who are finally feeble as well as incapable of getting it. First, we have discussed about the principles related to economic policy. Now we will see the social policy. In this, we will be looking into the sections, that is weaker sections of the society, the backward class, those who are educationally, economically, socially backward, scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. They should be protected by the exploitation and injustice. So uniform civil code should be concerned for all the citizens of India. Thereby, the administrating justice to all which should be taken concerned by the state. Steps should be taken for the social justice in matters like marriage, divorces, adoptions, juvenile assets and properties by the state. This was about social. Now we'll see the international and political policies. Panchayati Raj should be established by the state. Proper leadership, officers, financial aid should be provided to conduct the free work in free way. The state should have separate services for corporate mindedness, and it should be in a liberty so that the judges can be impartial, fearless, and they should be courageous while giving the judgment. The state should make attempts to maintain international peace, security, to establish fair relation between nations, and to increase respect of international law. Fourth principle is about education and cultural policy. Free and compulsory education, we have already seen from 6 to 14 years. This is a fundamental right to education. To preserve and protect our state heritage, artifacts, monuments, cultural places, art and buildings, because these belongs to us. This you have to preserve it. We have to protect this. These are our cultural heritage from distortion, robbery, transitioning, disposal and deterioration. Next comes the health policy. Public wellness and hygiene should be provided. Better nutrition, health amenities to the people of the state. We should prohibit on the harmful drugs, soft drinks and drugs which is not good for the health of the youngsters and everyone over here. This should be further banned because as it will create a health hazard for the public. We have to preserve our environment with the latest amendment, thereby taking care of the forest and vegetation. Hygiene environment should be maintained in the working areas of the laborers. They should have social and cultural development at the time of leisure, because the one hygiene environment is required where the laborers are working. Entertainment should be provided to them so that they can maintain their mental health. Social and cultural programs should be there for the leisure time. This provision should be kept and concerned by the state. Thus, these principles provide guidance to the state to take lead towards establishment of equal, just and social order without any exploitation. These directive principles envisage future society. They guide us to directions that we would go and lead us to our destination. The upliftment of the societies will be uplifted, society will be protected and will be taken care properly by the state. So, my dear children, fundamental rights limit the state leadership while directive principles extend the state leadership. Fundamental rights make the existence of democracy while directive principles of society and finance imparts aim for interrelation of there is no opposition between them, both of them complete each other. This can be asked two differences, the directive principles between the directive principles and the fundamental rights limit. So you can write these two points in this. Now can you see this, the self study, the question in this also it has been, the page numbers are given, the whole thing is being mentioned here. You can go through the lesson and can mark it and have to write in your notebooks. If you have any difficulties, we will be solving it. Thank you, children. Please complete your notebooks.